Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for joining us.
She struggled there for a minute. You are Deborah Nelson.
I forgot my name. It's a complicated one.
It's folks, I understand what the problem is when you hang on to the liberal tree-hugging mantra for so long. It slowly melts your brain.
And I'm going to be hugging a couple more because I have to plant some fig trees, and you have to hug them a little bit when you plant them.
Right.
So that's
you always look, and folks, this is for you and for Deborah since you're planting fig trees. You always want to plant your fig trees near your house because they need to hear noise. That's what my grandfather always told me.
I'll keep that in mind.
That's one of those countryisms.
Okie doke.
And he had one that was about 35 or 40 feet tall right by his house. So
yeah,
I think he knew. Folks, we're just here bringing you the news again.
All the news that's not fit to print.
all the news. I will have to mention something that I saw recently in a publication named the Pensacola News Journal. They did a viewpoint. Well, I couldn't tell if it was I really couldn't tell what it was. It was just something they put in there with no name, but they were their official position was gotcha journalism.
Oh,
there's no place for gotcha journalism.
Right.
It kind of surprised me, and I noticed one person on the P&J blog pointed out that they wondered if the Pensacola News Journal had ever watched 60 Minutes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, is that the opposite of completely ineffectual journalism? I mean,
I don't know, folks. I think we've been fairly effective with gotcha journalism.
Well, no, we don't do gotcha journalism, though.
We just walk in with the camera.
We do what they're supposed to be doing. Actually, right. That's what we're doing. That's what you're thinking of. Guerrilla journalism is when you take the camera in with you. Gotcha journalism is when they don't know there's a camera, or you selectively edit it to make it to make it sound like they said something they didn't actually mean. Well,
the thing that they objected with is Mr. O'Keefe, and look, you can like Mr. O'Keefe or you can dislike Mr. O'Keefe. In my humble opinion, Mr. O'Keefe is he's a hometown hero as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I don't like him, but back to what we do. We edit as little as possible.
Right.
We go in, we interview people, we've taken the camera to places like Team Santa Rosa. We didn't edit any of that. We don't have to edit it because we do our job correctly. Right. And that's something maybe PNJ and some other media outlets in this area, maybe they'd like to take some lessons from what we do.
Yeah. Well,
because they could do a little more of that.
Well, it's and folks, we have this discussion regular off the camera. What we do is it's actually easier than shooting a fish in a bucket. All you have to do is breathe a little bit and pay a little bit of attention and have a camera. You can uncover all kind of things.
Yeah.
You can request public documents where you will be enlightened to no end of what you will find.
Yeah, it would be so easy for them to just do their job. But the problem is, of course, then you would anger people who have expensive ads in your newspaper, and at some point you have to go out and work harder for your ads, I guess.
Right. Well, one other thing while we're talking about the media, and sometimes the media does very well. I'm going to say other medias besides us sometimes do very well. I want to put a shout out to Mr. Bill Gamlin, who did a story about me for Sunshine Week. And it certainly made the rounds, and I'm very glad that it did. I think it hopefully, and folks, this is Sunshine Week for our state. It's a very important week, and
that's national. That's
national, and the Sunshine Law is very important to all of us. If you've paid attention to us at all, that's something that we talk about a lot: is open government. Open meetings, open records.
Right.
And it's your government. And that is one thing that Deborah and I and Santa Rosa Week TV is always going to work towards, is strengthening of the existing sunshine laws. And when people tell us that we can't speak at a public meeting, we're gonna get out there and do something about it. Now, speaking of that,
we attended an economic development summit this week.
yes, we did. Well, it was an economic development / public safety summit.
Yes.
At the former Pullum Industrial Park. Of course, it will always be the Pullum Industrial Park to me.
Highway 87 South.
Highway 87 South. Near the piece of property that was appraised for $900,000, but you, the taxpayers, and I paid $3.2 million for it.
No road frontage on that.
No road frontage, but we had a nice picnic lunch.
We had a pretty good gathering of people come out.
We had a good gathering.
And our concern was, we've been covering these deep holes that as yet remain uncovered, the manholes out there.
Right. And, you know, folks, 4 weeks ago, these very dangerous deep holes were brought to the attention by a local citizen who contacted us. We went out. We took a look at them. Etta Lawler. We took a look at them. We contacted a county commissioner. We have spoken to the Road and Bridges, and we have been told that Mr. Pullum has been made aware of these very dangerous holes.
We were also told it was still his responsibility to cover them.
Right. My concern is, and continues to be my concern, I really don't want to hear the argument about it. I really don't need to be involved in the court case over who has to do something about it. What I want is somebody to do something about it. Plain and simple. It's dangerous.
Yeah, they're very dangerous.
Children can fall in the holes.
You will not get back out.
You will not get back out.
There's one that's, and of course, then the drain leads to the holding pond across the field.
Absolutely, and until those holes are covered, we're going to continue to talk about it on this show. Now, I'm gonna say this: 2 weeks from this telecast, if those holes aren't secured, I, Jerry Cooey, along with a little assistance from my cohort, Deborah Nelson, I am going to start a hunger strike. I'm going to stay in the bottom of one of those holes. I have asked Deborah to at least stop by periodically and furnish me with water, and
maybe some nuts and berries.
Nuts and berries, and in an effort to bring attention to a very, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most dangerous situations in Santa Rosa County. If that's what it takes, I'm willing to do that. So 2 weeks from today, folks, and I think you know I'm a man of my word, if the holes in the Pullum Industrial Park, now named the Northwest Florida Industrial Park, if those dangerous holes are not covered, I will be entering into the very dangerous holes to start a hunger strike until they're corrected. And you know, I just don't know any other way to draw attention to it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you have to do?
Maybe we can get Willie Nelson out here for.
Yeah, maybe have a concert. Have a concert.
Benefit.
Well, you know, you would think someone who owns a private island that takes people there all the time would
an inexpensive helicopter
could be able to squeeze out a couple bucks to put the lids back on it, but. You would think,
as opposed to the taxpayers doing it,
right?
Which eventually will be what happens,
right?
I mean, we think I'll run into thousands of dollars.
You know, I'm just, you know, there's nothing else I can do. I have brought it to the attention of the appropriate people,
right?
So, folks, I'm going in the hole. You know, Deborah's going to bring me a gallon of water every day or so.
At least every day. I think what surprises me the most is that Mr. Pullum, I think much was made of the quote-unquote missionary trips to Central America, Honduras, where he's got the private island.
Right.
The family members and the friends were going down. We've heard of all these missionary trips and these donations to help the firefighters. And this religious tone to all these activities, and yet here's these holes in the middle of our community.
Right.
Just sitting open. I mean, we know kids go out to those fields. I've seen them out there on their bikes, you know, middle school age, usually boys or whatever out there.
Right.
And, you know, they're just, you know, it just still hasn't been addressed.
And once again,
what would Jesus do about those holes?
Right. Well, and another thing, Deborah, and folks, we you know, I gave great kudos to the Sheriff's Department for their swift response time when anybody was on the Pullum industrial property. But
you know, Etta Lawler was actually stopped and questioned.
I am sad to say that at our recent economic development / public safety summit, the response time was pretty pitiful.
Yeah. We missed them entirely.
It took almost an hour and 25 minutes before there was a response by the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department, and you know, Wendell Hall, our sheriff, if you happen to watch our show, there must be some breakdown in communication. And
well, you know, actually, I inquired of Sheriff Hall as to whether it was legal for. I think you were at that event.
Yes, I was at that event.
Whether it was legal for a citizen to go in there, and my understanding is that it is legal to go in there.
He seemed to be a little confused. So in case there's any other confusion for the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department as a private security firm for Mr. Bill Pullum, let me make it abundantly clear again to the Sheriff of Santa Rosa County. It is a platted road. The public has access to go on it or to go off of it. Period. End of story. And I hope, my greatest wish is that the next time that I am sitting on that property, I look forward to the deputy saying something to me.
I'm thinking it's not going to happen.
I don't know. We shall see. I look forward to that conversation, though.
Me too.
I'd like to have a clearer understanding how one citizen or a group of citizens can have a problem with speeding in their neighborhood, and they have to pay out of their own money for off-duty sheriff's officers to sit in said neighborhood, yet another citizen, the owner of this industrial park, Mr. Bill Pullum, apparently can just make a call to the sheriff, and they're Johnny on the spot protecting his assets. So
well, that's what we understood from Etta Lawler, who was actually stopped by a deputy when she was in there.
Right.
And my understanding was that the information was that Mr. Pullum doesn't like people driving, cutting through, and driving.
That's the brakes. Now, folks, the rest of this show, hope you enjoy it. It's going to be very educational. Get your pen out, get a piece of paper out. I want you to pay attention and take notes. This is a videotape from a Tea Party meeting, and I was asked to speak about your freedom or lack of freedom to speak at public meetings. And we hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you next week. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Freedom of speech is very, very important to all of us. I've been involved for a long time now with the sunshine laws in the state of Florida, and few people have seen me read the U.S. First Amendment to the Constitution many times at county commission meetings, not only in Santa Rosa County but in Escambia County. But we the people have the right to peaceably assemble for a redress of our grievances, except not in Florida anymore. Now, I know you're saying, well, that can't be true. There's no way. This guy is crazy. Well, it is true, and I'm going to take you through it. I'm going to give you the broad strokes of it so you'll know the case. Anybody that's familiar with the Maritime Park in Escambia County, you've all heard about it, right? Well, you had a federal judge that was the chairman of the Community Maritime Park Association. A federal judge, let me say that again, Lacey Collier, who not only wouldn't allow citizens to speak at a public meeting, which involved $100 million worth of taxpayer money, he also said in the press, I really don't need to hear from them because I've got to make the decision anyhow. So two brave citizens, Mr. Boyd and Mr. Kessler, decided to take up the fight, and along with an attorney that I have a great deal of admiration for, Sharon Barnett, who is constantly taking up cases for no money, trying to help the folks, they took them to task on it. And it went before Judge Bell in Escambia County. Now, I'm just a citizen. I got to believe that a judge is going to get it right. I mean, it's our government. They tax us. We pay for it. Can't I speak at a government meeting? Who could get that wrong? Well, Judge Bell said that the Sunshine Law only says you have the right to observe and participate. It doesn't specifically say speak in the Sunshine Law. So he said, move along. I rule against you. So the two citizens would not be deterred. They managed to get the case heard before the first DCA. Well, as a citizen, I'm thinking to myself, well, it goes before the first DCA. They'll get the right answer. Certainly, a judge will understand this. It went before the first DCA, and I was in the room. And I was ashamed of the judicial that day, not only in the way Miss Barnett was treated, but ashamed in their decision. Judge Kahn and Judge Weatherall, and if you want to have some fun when you get home, go on Google and put Charles Kahn in there. I'll let you be the judge of what kind of character this man has. That's just a little side note for you. But they both viewed it the same way. Doesn't say speak, Miss Barnett. Move along. So what do we do now? We ask the Supreme Court. Let me tell you something about the history of the Supreme Court. Since 1964, every Supreme Court in the state of Florida has vehemently protected the citizens' right to speak and participate in the government. Except in 2011, this court refused to hear the case. Simply unbelievable. All this, I can see some shocked faces here. Let me assure you it's true. I've been there for most of it. I actually stood in front of Judge Lacey Collier and I asked the board of the CMPA how did they think this was going to work out, not allowing the people to speak when it's $100 million worth of the people's money for this project. Not one of the 12 board members, nor Lacey Collier, nor the secretary, or anybody in that room would even speak. You could hear the crickets chirp. So our elected officials, in a lot of cases, have turned their backs on us. And certainly I have shown you that the judicial organization has turned our back. And just to let you know how far it can go, and this has occurred already in the state of Florida. Because of this ruling, if a government entity or an appointed board that stands in the shoes of government so chooses, if they don't want you to speak, they can have you removed. That's number one. Number two, if you stay there, they'll summons one of Sheriff Hall's deputies and they can take you out of there. And if you still refuse, they can handcuff you. And there have been counties in the state of Florida that have taken folks to task and drug them into court using unlimited taxpayer money to take them to court with. And a case just recently, a fella, he laid down on the floor and made them drag him out of a county commission meeting over this very issue. Now, it hasn't happened in Santa Rosa County, and I don't think it's going to happen in Santa Rosa County, but we have to stand up for everybody in this state. Just unbelievable. You know, this thing can go from just asked to leave, to handcuffed, to drug out, to fined, to imprison. If you push the point, they have the legal right with the recent rulings of the court. They can put you in prison over this, folks. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't live in communist China. I don't live in Iran. I don't live in Iraq. Don't live in Cuba. And this is not part of the Soviet Union. I'm reminded of a movie called Network. And there was a character in the movie, his name was Howard Beale, and he was just completely fed up with the world. And he said, I'm going to do something about it. And he stuck his head out the window and he said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And as the movie progressed, it was just him. And then it was the neighbor, and then it was another neighbor, and it was another neighbor. And the reason I have come here tonight is because the Tea Party, which I'm a proud member of, has proven to me on the septic tank issue alone, when you bring your voices together, you can knock somebody upside the head and talk some sense into them. Well, today I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, but being mad is not enough. You know, there's a lot of folks down at McDonald's in the morning that's mad, but they won't take action. And they over at Whataburger, and they're mad, but they don't take action. Well, this is a group I believe will take action. And I want to challenge everybody in here. We got a radio station. Lets people get on from 8 to 9 and 4 to 6. And I want you to, I ask you to take what you've heard here tonight and get on the radio station and challenge this. We've got newspapers. Write a letter to the editor.
Yeah.
WBY 1330. 623-1330 is their telephone number. Call them. Most importantly, now, I want to believe, and we're going to continue, the First Amendment Foundation is a very fine organization, and pressure's being applied. But you know what? You and I can't walk up to a Supreme Court judge and say, I think you're wrong. The only thing you can do is put pressure in the media, and this is Sunshine Week in the state of Florida, and we're going to apply some pressure to see if we can get that. But right now, House Bill 285 and Senate Bill 310 is being discussed right now, and it will change the verbiage in the Sunshine Law to not only say participate, it will also say be able to speak and to speak to agenda items that are in front of any elected board or any appointed board in the state of Florida. And I've already sent it to Mr. Evers. And but folks, this is, you know, we have the right to peaceably assemble for redress of grievances with our government. I do not understand. I do not see how this has occurred, but it has. And it has occurred on our watch. And the only thing we can do is we're going to have to take up arms and do something about it. Please send an email to your state rep. Send an email to your state senator. I want to ask, you certainly impress me when all of a sudden there's 70 Tea Party organizations that's beating that septic tank bill to death, and that was an important thing for us to work on. I know we still got work left to do. But our right as a citizen to be able to question our government, to speak at a government meeting, to see the finances and see how they're handling our work is a fundamental right, and the courts have pulled that away from us, at least temporarily. And I just ask all of you to think about this. Go to the First Amendment webpage. It's faf.org. This is a big week for us, and we hope we can get it fixed through the legislature. But you still got an idiot decision by the court that's still going to be hanging out there, and it needs to be cleared up. But I know together we can clear that up.
Who pays your salary?
Well, to start out with, if you got near a judge, you would have people looking at you with a skunk eye to start out with. Now, for example, Robert Hilliard, I can walk up to him and talk to him. County judges, but it seems the higher up on the feeding chain we get, we become, and I don't think I'm out of line for saying this, I believe everybody in this room believes this, we become a little bit of an elitist. You can't break bread with me. I'm a judge. You know, I'm a circuit judge. I'm a federal judge.
Jerry, I'm still not seeing any jobs out here. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? It's a beer bottle. Jerry, it looks like there may be some custodial type jobs fomenting themselves out here. I'm seeing signs of...
It's obvious to me that there is some cleanup that needs to occur in the Pullum Industrial Park.
I'm seeing definite signs of possible cleanup type employment going to be perhaps available in the near future. Let's just think of it as a ramp up job right now, but who knows what's on the horizon with what I'm seeing out here.
Well, folks, here we are in a beautiful former industrial Pullum Park, and just continuing on with our economic development / public safety summit that we're having today, and we do have quite a crowd that has showed up, and we're just enjoying a beautiful day on this, a piece of property that citizens have the right to stand on. And once again, we have giant holes in the ground that don't have covers on them, and once again, very little activity except those of us who are participating in the summit. So we will report back to you soon.
You know, Jerry, I can feel the creative brainstorming at work here for the economic development plans to bring good paying jobs to the county. Well, it's in the wind.
You know, if you use the numbers that economic development agencies usually use as far as job count, well, we have 6 cars out here, and somebody had to manufacture those, and we bought gas, and somebody had to take your money at the convenience store.
Yeah.
Of course, I chose to eat at Burger King today, so I've created 2 or 3 jobs at Burger King, and all in all, potentially we've created a couple hundred jobs just by having this summit today.
Well, there's the ripple effect, but there's also the ramp up effect of the beer bottle that we mentioned earlier. That's going to be some future cleanup type work.
Right.
It's looking very promising with the trash on the road.
You know, the ramp up is very difficult for the common man to understand how to get those numbers. But if today we've created somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 jobs, I expected ramp up positions could swell into the thousands before it's over with.
Okay, well I think I need to sign off because I need to go get my resume ready.
Very good.